Vanessa Elise. Well, my play is called Noise and Interruption, and it's a complicated play to explain, really. I'm in a coma. My character is a photographer, and she's in a coma because she was in a very bad car accident. And so the play takes place in this sort of parallel plane of existence where she's waiting to either wake up from her coma or be disconnected from life support. If you would only know that I was on my honeymoon. I was doing a completely different show at the beginning. It was going to be about Mae West, and it was completely different. And I went to Jamaica, which I mentioned in my show. I went to Jamaica for my honeymoon, and I was about to jump off a cliff, and I'm looking at all the rocks down below, and I'm thinking, if I hit one of those things, I could die or end up in a coma. Hey, that's a really good idea for an OPS. Wow. And as soon as we got back, I called my advisor, Stuart Melter, and I told him, I don't know how you feel about this, but I'm thinking that I want to do a show about being in a coma and da-da-da-da-da-da. And I explained to him the whole concept, and he was like, I'm so glad, because I was so over your Mae West idea. I had no idea how I was going to approach writing the script. It was a very long process, but thankfully it all worked out in the end. And it was just the process of figuring out how to keep it abstract without losing audiences completely, that even people that aren't used to abstract type shows can follow the through line and can be there emotionally with the character. The hardest was the rehearsal, because that's when you really realize, I'm by myself. And a lot of the rehearsal process is by yourself, and if you're lucky enough, a stage manager will come in and be an outside eye, and then you have your advisor who will come in a couple of times. But for the majority of it, you're by yourself with a person that you've created or you are recreating. If, for example, one of the shows is someone living. And it's so weird because we're so used to bouncing things off of each other. And you start to get used to bouncing it off yourself, like trusting your own ideas, not second guessing yourself. And you realize, listen, I'm a senior, I've gotten to this point, and we have all this training, and you do have the assistance of your classmates that keeps you going. Like if any of us really had a question, we'd ask each other, I'm doing this in my show, I don't think it works, can you take a look at it? So you're never really completely by yourself, but it's about trusting yourself that you can make correct decisions, that you've worked enough at figuring out motivation, tactics, all these things that they teach us, and applying it to our final thesis, as it were. Leila Ilham is one of the most brilliant actresses I have ever seen, and I have the pleasure of knowing her personally and having spoken to her, and Renata Islik, which is a graduate from here. She was the senior class when I was a freshman, and seeing her through her senior year and then seeing her on stage as a professional, it was just so inspiring to know that I could get there. That's going to be me. And their work, both of them, they're just so dedicated and so nuanced in their work. And I feel so inspired by all of that all the time that it's kind of like you sit back and like, what would Leila do? What would Renata do? And male-wise, I mean, Greg Wiener, Todd Allen Durkin, there's so many wonderful, rich actors in the South Florida theater community that I don't even, there's so many. My professor, David Quiet, like, it's insane because we don't realize until we sit back and really think about it how many people we know in this community that make theater really happen, and it's awesome. So as a whole, it's inspiring. I, Vanessa, jumped off the cliff, and I did not hit a rock.
That's a good thing.
Yes.